Hello there, rum friends. Those of you who are watching, I'm guessing the traffic on this will not be especially high because today I'm reviewing some very, very obscure rums from a French bottler. I think it's Compagnie des Indes. And so they put out a whole bunch of like cool stuff from distilleries or places that are not traditionally thought of as, big go-to rum places. And today I thought I would do two that seem geographically very distant, but stylistically maybe closer. There's an 8-year-old from Thailand and a 14-year-old from Florida. But so far as I can tell, both of these distilled on large columns from molasses. So, roughly speaking, very Cuban in style. Both of these bottled at lower proof, 43 versus 44. Now, I will be the first to admit I don't know a whole lot about where these are actually sourced from. They just say Thailand and Florida. Now, so I attempted to do a little bit of research guessing where the heck these things are from. The Florida one you can kind of figure is from an operation called Florida Caribbean Distillers, which has been around a while. They've been down in Central Florida distilling stuff since the 40s, I think 43 or so. It's only really been recently that their stuff has been kind of bottled with this kind of presentation, but they've been out there. So I can't really think of who else a 14-year-old rum would be from, but in any case, I can't even find pictures of the distillery. To give you some idea of what these folks usually... If you ever look on the back of, random party drinks, seltzers and things, the kids are buying, you will occasionally see an ingredient called other than standard orange wine. I don't know exactly what that is, but the Florida Caribbean Distillery, they make a lot of that. Apparently they make more of that than anyone else. So I'm thinking something extremely industrial in nature. Now, the one from Thailand, I could not, for the life of me, figure out. There's just not a lot of information about Thai distilleries. There's a couple of Thai rums out there. You'll see Sang Som, of course, and I wrote it down. The Bangi Khan distillery is fairly well known, but searches me where this is actually from. So, but I am excited to try these and tasting them with no notes. Going to give you a score. I don't know a whole lot about these. Both of these were matured, I guess, in ex-bourbon cask, with the Florida one getting 16 months in a ex-French whiskey cask as a finish. Now, I do have an auction. I may exercise if I feel like I need it. But let's get stuck into these guys and see what they're like. Okay, fairly ambery color on the Thai, and I was thinking all of these were tropically matured, continentally matured, but I don't know. It's a fairly dark color on this. This could have been aged at the distillery. Who knows? And right away, I am getting, very refined, multi-column distilled cane molasses distillate. RC Cola is almost always the dead giveaway for something roughly in the vein of Cuban-style rum, something very ethanol-y that has gone into a bourbon cask, or in any case, a white oak cask for some period of time. And I'm getting tons of RC Cola on this. Not a whole lot else. Vanilla, obviously, but that goes along with the RC. There's some nice kind of generalized nuttiness, maybe some crushed almonds and peanuts in there. Uh, I'm struggling. There's just, it's pleasant, but there's not a whole lot going on here. Maybe like a black olive or two. Usually I look for industrial notes, slight rubbery notes on these kinds of rums. Here I'm not really getting that so much even. It smells clean and nice. It smells like a multi-column distilled rum that went into a bourbon cask. That's what this smells like. I'm sorry, that's what this smells like. On the palate, much more peppery on the palate, which I like. Bring a lot of black pepper, bringing some kind of pleasant ashiness. RC Cola, vanilla, black olive, touch of fennel. There's really not a whole lot to this. It's nice enough though. In some ways, I'm reminded of that what was it, the Grander rum from Panama. It's a very, very simple distillate with some very simple wood influence that's been relatively well presented. That's kind of what this feels like. I'm going to give this a drop of water. You know, I'm already going to exercise my option without even trying the Florida one. Okay, so what I've got in as my reserve is this stuff, and we shall talk about it in a moment. Pour. Actually, I guess you already knew this was coming because I probably put it in the title up there. Sorry. All right, next up, before we get to my spoiler, is the CdI Florida 14-year-old. Again, 14 years in oak, although that looks like a very light color for something that was, 12 and a half odd years aging plus a finish in, a fresh French whiskey cask. That is a very light color. On the nose of this, if I thought the Thailand one was kind of simple and quiet, this is, wait, okay, 43. Hello? Okay, I am getting like a little bit of like rubber on this, a little bit of like pencil eraser. There's some white pepper starting to creep through. Little vanilla, little hints of not even RC Cola, almost like a new Coke sort of note happening. Sawdust, maybe. I don't know. I'm struggling here. Maybe more will come out with water. I'm really glad I poured this third glass here. Wow. Okay. There's just not a lot going on. And what little there is. So there's not a lot of notes, and all the notes that are there are extremely quiet. Like I could be smelling nothing right now. On the palate. Okay. Also some nice pepper showing up on the palate. It's nice black peppery stuff. Campfire ash. Cigar ash. Almost Connecticut broadleaf cigar ash. Let's go with that. A little bit of pencil erasure again. A little bit of pencil shavings also. That's happening. Much more happening on the palate than than on the nose, but it's still not not bringing a whole lot to the table. Yeah, these are tough. I mean, the Thailand is pleasant enough. It's just not super duper complex. This one isn't even really coming out to talk to me very much. So I'm very glad I broke into this. Havana Club. Selección de Maestros. If you were looking for the standard, the bar setters in molasses-based column still, industrial column still rum, that's Cuba. That's what Cuba does. They took the coffee still and made it a fine-tuned instrument upon which they could play their greatest rummy sonatas. Havana Club 7 is, for me, like one of the most important, that's a rum you need to own. Embargo or not, go get yourself a bottle of Havana Club 7. And real Havana Club 7, not the stuff coming out of Puerto Rico, the Cuban stuff. It is RC Cola, campfire ash, and rubber cement. And it's delicious, and it's well done. And it's just, you need to know that style. It's not my favorite rum in the world, but it's just very well done for what it is. So I'm extremely excited to try this one, which is no age statement on this, but it's older stuff. Again, in Cuba, it's more about the art of the blend than about, big age statements or anything like that. And it is bottled at 45%, which is apparently the legal maximum in Cuba. They used to call this the barrel proof, which it clearly isn't, but it is still the highest they can bottle a rum. So let's see what we got here. Actually brings some mintiness, some like basil happening now. Mint and basil, which I was not expecting. Way more interesting on the nose. Cinnamon. Cinnamon sticks. It's very festive, actually. I should have saved this for Christmas. Fennel. I'm not getting RC Cola. I'm actually getting like a birch beer kind of note, which I'm appreciating. Like a little bit of tree bark. Clove. Touch of cardamom, but not too much. There's a sawdusty thing on this, but it's almost more like sawdust from toasted wood. There's a little bit of a toasty note in there. Toasted nutshells as well. Little industrial hints, but this is actually cleaner on the nose than the 7 is, which, for a weirdo like me is maybe a little bit sad, but no, they're still there. There's a little bit of rubber cement, but it's kind of hanging out in the background. What's in the front is the kind of herbaceous, cooling notes and this kind of cinnamon spicy notes. Did I mention pepper? There's a lot of like black pepper on this nose. Nice. Let's give it a try on the palate. It makes me kind of sad, but this really does just outshine the others. There's just more going on. So the mintiness and the basil I was getting on the nose carries through on the palate, but the cinnamon stick element and the clove and a little bit of allspice as well kind of outpace it. Let me try this again. Peppery, RC Cola, but the birch beer is also right there. Fennel, black pepper. I should talk about the form of this. It's The one thing that concerns me about this at this point is what I'm calling the mouth length, like how far back this goes in my mouth. In the mouth, it feels kind of short. It stops right at my molars. Now, the finish is pretty darn decent. It's kind of medium longish, but it's just not going back very far. I'm expecting water to improve that. Like normally I wouldn't, risk adding a whole lot of water to a Cuban rum, but at 45%, I think this could take it. Yeah. I really like this. It's almost the kind of herbaceous. There's an orange peel character to this too. The herbaceous, spicy, slightly sour nature of this. There's almost a little bit of a rhubarb thing happening. Makes me see this as like a really good after dinner drink. Like you pour this for me in place of an Amaro or something, and I'm happy. Like as something to drink after dinner. This is great. Yeah, it's just a good rum. Not super duper profound or anything, but you just remember, like these are. Did I add water to these others? I didn't, did I? 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. But I mean, you have to remember this is a fairly mass-produced product from, what is basically, vintage industrial equipment, but industrial equipment. Like this is. This is not some thoroughbred pot still monster that, spent 2 decades in sherry cask or something. This is for the modest beginnings of this. This is actually doing a lot, and it's pleasant to drink. It's easy to drink. So we shall come back to that in a bit. But now I'm going to return to this CdI Thailand, which was going into the second half. My favorite of the 2 CDIs, but let's see. Ooh. It likes water. The water kind of brings out a slight lemon lime note, like lemon and lime peel, which I'm appreciating. It's still really ruled by, the RC Cola. But pay attention, and there's little hints of the complexity of whatever the base materials were for this. I'm really appreciating that little addition of citrus peel in this. White pepper, which I was getting on the palate, kind of coming through on the nose now as well. Still not profound or anything like that, but I'm enjoying this, at least on the nose. On the palate, Okay, that has a fun little evolution to it. So it arrives. It presents sweet and creamy on the arrival. Almost like I, had some just sugared up creamy drink or something. Take some some cream, whipping cream, put a little sugar in there, pour it in the front. That's kind of how this arrives. But then it develops a nice kind of peppery and slightly ashy character on the back end that emerges with the water. Not profound. It doesn't bring the citrusy notes I was getting on the nose, but certainly pleasant, certainly drinkable, and I am very happy I had a chance to try this. So I will give this CdI Thailand 8-year-old, 43%, 76 points. I certainly don't think it's good, but I don't think it's shit either. For reference, I've said in the past, like, the vast majority of what you will find in your liquor store is shit. It just is. So if you have gotten to the point where you are sucky and mediocre, you have taken a big step over everything else on the shelves. And this has managed to do that. It's not, again, by far not my favorite rum in the world, but respectable, very drinkable, 76 points. We've had a lot worse on this channel before. Moving back to the CdI Florida. Let's see if the water I added too late in the game, but still, has cracked open the nose at all. Nope. Nope, not really. There's maybe like a stale coffee grinds kind of thing coming through now. Yeah. It still smells very, very vague. I wonder if that's the finishing. Sometimes when you finish a cask, you expect it to add more flavors, but often it can kind of, especially on the nose, kind of deaden things down a little bit. And maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. On the palate. It does bring me a little bit of ash, pepper, coffee, along with the RC Cola, but nah. I mean, it's kind of cool to try a rum that's 14 years old from Florida, but I'm not really enjoying this or excited about this at all. Not even to the degree I was kind of excited about the Thailand. There's a kind of a decent finish on this at least, but it's just kind of ashy and bitter, and it doesn't bring much. Yeah, I'm gonna give this 73 points. I don't hate it. It isn't like physically hurting me. Like that's what the other half of the 100-point score is for. When I am feeling pain drinking something, then it can go down there. This isn't doing that yet. It is far from doing that. It's just kind of boring. Very, very basic. Yeah, 73 points. And we are back to the Havana Club. All right, let's see what's happened on the nose. Actually, you know what this smells like? Go to Turkey sometime. Go to Istanbul. I'm going to say Turkish coffee, but I'm not thinking about the stuff you buy, like the stuff that's made in the cafes. Go and buy a bag of Turkish coffee. There's like one brand, I don't even know what it's called, but it's the brand everyone buys. And go and buy that brand. Open up the bag and smell it. That is exactly what this smells like. It's a very kind of green, herbaceous, spicy coffee. I don't even know if they're actually adding herbs or spices to it, but it smells herbaceous and spicy. That is what this smells like. And I'm really enjoying it. It's not the kind of thing I normally reach for, but there's a warmth and a friendliness and a kind of subtle complexity to this guy that I'm appreciating. On the palate, Yeah, there we go. I was hoping the mouth length thing I talked about would be improved with water, because that often happens. And yeah, like it has improved. This is now kind of going way back a little bit into my throat, which I'm enjoying. It's like a warm hug, kind of a Cuban hug, if you like. Water has brought out the sweetness a little bit more. So we're now getting a little bit more of the RC Cola notes, which I'm fine with. But it brings enough, pepper and spice and other kinds of character. Like, those are vague descriptors. I'm really sorry. That's the best I can do with Under Pressure. It's bringing enough of those other details that I'm okay with the RC Cola-ness of this. I'm not really getting the industrial character. The little hints of rubber cement that were still there, those aren't really showing up on the palate anymore. Which is a little sad for me, but oh well. I'm stuck between like 82 and 83. I still don't think this is that good. 82 plus. Call this an 82 plus. It's very drinkable. It's very friendly. Like, it's hard to imagine someone that would just pay this, unless they don't like spirits. It's just kind of delicious, but delivers enough depth to it that it's not boring. These are a little bit boring. You see what I mean? '82 plus. So for our lineup, the original lineup, the CdI Thailand gets 76 points. And a big shrug, but it's fine. The CdI Florida, 73 points. I see no reason to really see, like, they finished it in a French whiskey cask. Like, I don't even think they believed in this. 73 points. And the Havana Club Maestros, 82 plus. Not really my style, but I respect this, and I would absolutely not refuse a glass. Thanks for watching, and cheers.